Welcome to the series, Who is Ruling Australia? I'm Dr. J.W. Avu. This is a political behavioural analysis, episode 2, The Illusion of Choice. In episode 1, I examined the growing emotional distance between ordinary Australians and the institutions governing them. And this episode explores what happens when populations continue voting publicly while increasingly feeling unchanged privately. Australians still line up at polling booths, democracy still performs its rituals, campaign buses still move through suburbs carrying promises about affordability, stability, energy relief, housing and national direction. Candidates still shake hands beneath camera flashes while carefully rehearsed slogans drift across exhausted populations, already carrying another work week home inside their nervous systems. Emotional election night still arrives with celebration music, coloured maps and victory speeches. Yet beneath the spectacle, a quieter question has started spreading across the country. Why do so many Australians increasingly feel that changing governments no longer changes the emotional atmosphere surrounding ordinary life? The psychological fracture deepens when populations begin sensing that while political personalities rotate publicly, many underlying pressures continue operating regardless of who holds office. And once people begin feeling trapped between visible democratic participation and invisible behavioural stagnation, cynicism slowly starts replacing trust. A man changes the channel between political interviews while eating dinner alone after work. Different faces appear, different slogans, different attacks. Yet the emotional atmosphere underneath the broadcasts feels strangely similar. The mortgage still waits, the bills still tighten, the exhaustion still follows him into the kitchen after midnight. You change leadership, you observe repetition, you continue adapting. And the punchline is populations begin emotionally disconnecting when political change repeatedly fails to produce behavioural relief inside ordinary life. Teaching point number 2. The deeper pressure emerges when people stop believing they meaningfully influence the direction shaping their future. The language still says your vote matters, but many Australians increasingly feel decisions are negotiated somewhere far above the emotional realities ordinary households are keeping beneath them. A woman folds another overdue notice quietly before the children wake for school. Outside, campaign advertisements still promise national optimism. Inside the house, survival remains intensely personal. And you hear participation, gives you expectation, investment and emotional hope. You observe stagnation, causes frustration, confusion and internal distance. And you normalise contradiction. You're adapting and numbing and existentially drifting from reality. And once participation stops producing emotional legitimacy, democracy itself begins feeling psychologically distant. Teaching point number 3. The greatest danger is not disagreement. Healthy societies survive disagreement. The danger begins when populations emotionally stop expecting meaningful improvement together. A tradesman no longer watches political debates. A young couple postpones having children again. Another family quietly leaves the city after realising home ownership increasingly feels unreachable. And nobody announces societal decline publicly. People just simply adjust privately. You can carry disappointment repeatedly. It's going to give you exhaustion, disengagement and internal contradiction and contraction. You lose future confidence. It's going to bring anxiety, hesitation, and emotional instability. And you stop expecting change, which is going to give you detachment, apathy, and quiet despair. Viewers, nations weaken when populations continue participating publicly, while internally surrendering belief that systems genuinely change anything meaningful. So if we reflect, at what point did political participation stop feeling emotionally connected to meaningful national direction for you? We'll do a resistance check. Have you started expecting disappointment before elections even begin? Do political promises increasingly feel emotionally weightless? Have you emotionally detached from outcomes while still participating externally? Well, let's do a root cause check. Is Australia only experiencing political dissatisfaction? Or is it deeper than that? Or are Australians beginning to lose emotional trust in the belief that ordinary people still meaningfully shape the systems governing their lives? Well, let's take some immediate action. Observe whether political communication focuses more on perception, emotional management, opposition attacks, or genuine behavioural accountability. You can look in election coverage, political interviews, campaign advertisings, and public debate panels. A proverb: a nation drifts quietly when its people continue participating publicly while privately expecting very little to change. In closing, the deeper danger is not merely political disappointment. It is the slow emotional collapse of belief that ordinary Australians still possess meaningful influence over the direction of their own country. In the next episode, we're going to look at when politics started sounding like corporations. Bye for now.